When you see through what's not right, or when you see what's not right, they'll try to make you feel like you're going crazy, all because you can see the truth in plain sight. They want you to think it's something wrong with you just because they tried to break you down into being broken. But they couldn't break you, no matter how broken they were able to make you. They still couldn't break you. They made you feel like you were going crazy. They tried to alter your reality in such a way to where you doubted yourself and you didn't feel confident. You started to think that you were losing your grips. But luckily, God sent you some information. God directed you in the right direction to where you were able to find out and tell that not everything you saw wasn't right. Not everything you saw wasn't true. You were able to see through the games. You were able to see through the negativity. And you were able to see that you saw everything just fine. The way you looked at things was the right way. The way you saw things was more than crystal clear. There was nothing wrong with you. There was nothing wrong with your mind. And there was nothing wrong with your vision. Everything that you saw was happening just the way it was happening. But they didn't want you to think so. They tried to make you think that you were seeing things, you were looking at things incorrectly, and you were viewing things out of proportion. But that couldn't be farther from the truth. They didn't want you to feel confident in what you saw and what you felt. But it was something in you that just didn't think that was right. It's something in you that didn't think what was going on should be happening. And you were able to see clearly, clear as day, right through it, so you could save yourself. That's that discernment that God blessed you with. You were able to tell that something was wrong when something wasn't right. People tried to advise you to go get help. People tried to advise you that you needed help, but it wasn't you, the one who needed help. People were projecting onto you because you saw things the right way. You saw that something was wrong. And because of that, it caused other people to start to feel anxious, start to feel anxiety, start to worry, because you were waking up. You were waking up to how things truly were. And it started to scare people. And what they'll do is, when you're right, they'll try to make you feel like you're going crazy. When you see things clearly, they'll try to make you think that you don't. They want you to think that you're losing it because you are able to see through the games that they played. You saw that what they were doing wasn't right. You saw that what they were doing was causing you to feel a certain type of way. You saw that what they were doing caused you to feel that way. And you picked up on it, just like any sound-minded, logical person who's using their mind correctly would. There's nothing wrong with a person that sees the truth. There's nothing wrong with a person that can tell something isn't right. But the people who are doing the wrong will try to manipulate you into thinking that what you're seeing isn't what you see. They'll try to make you feel that you've made a mistake. They'll try to make you feel that you need a second opinion. There's no second opinion needed when you put God first in your life and you can see things as clear as day. And there's really no problem. Now, if you actually needed help, or if there was actually something wrong and they were actually trying to actually get you some real help, you would actually feel that. There wouldn't be any mischievousness in the situation that you were going through. But you were able to tell because God blessed you with discernment. God blessed you with ears to hear and eyes to see. And you were able to see that something was off. You were able to see that something was, some wool was being pulled over your eyes. You were able to see that people weren't being on the up and up. People weren't keeping it 100 with you. People weren't keeping it real with you. And they were actually trying to cause you to feel like you were going crazy. There's a difference between crazy making and making someone question their reality and making someone doubt themselves versus someone actually needing to go see someone so they could be better and get better. Someone who actually needs help versus someone who's being told and convinced that they need help. Now, if somebody was to actually go get the help that they needed, that's a good thing. If there's actually something wrong with someone and they are seeking help and people are actually trying to get them the help they need, that's a good thing. But what's help going to do when it's not needed? What's help going to do when the person actually doesn't require any help? The help they need is to not be around the people that are telling them they actually need help. That's the help that person needs. The help that they actually need is to be left alone and not have someone try to convince them that they need something that they don't. The help they need is someone to make them trying to stop doubting themselves. That's the actual help they need. They need somebody to make them not doubt themselves. They need somebody to not try to make them feel like they need help in the first place when they don't. That's what that person actually needs. That person needs some truth in their life. That person needs some realness in their life. That person needs some authenticity. That person needs some people who can keep it 100 and see that something is off and something is not right. Because to try to cause someone to feel that they need something when they don't, that could be dangerous. That could actually cause more harm than good. Because when the help is not actually needed, how's it going to help? It could actually possibly hurt someone. But when you start to wake up and you start to see things as they are, and you start to see things the way you should see it, then there are going to be some concerns. There are going to be some concerns. And people are going to get scared and get afraid that you're actually viewing things and viewing the situation for what it actually is. And when you start to view the situation for what it actually is, when you start to gain confidence in your mind and gain confidence in what you think and gain confidence in what you see from the person who's been trying to make you feel the opposite of that, they're not going to validate your they're not going to validate your perception. They're only going to further try to make you feel how they've been making you feel the whole entire time. But luckily, God had your back, and you were able to keep your grips and your grasp on reality because you had it the whole entire time. It's just that somebody wanted you to second guess. Somebody wanted you to not have full faith in your opinion, but believe theirs instead. When you were supposed to be believing yours the whole entire time, because there was nothing wrong with your opinion. There was nothing wrong with how you viewed the situation. There's nothing wrong with what you saw, especially if you have the gift of discernment and you're a seer and you actually didn't need any assistance at all. I can understand if you needed some glasses. I can understand if your vision was a little blurry and you're walking around and bumping into things and not able to see clearly, then some assistance is needed. Because at that point, if you can't see where you're going, you're tripping and falling and stumbling, all right, and you need help seeing where you're going so that way you can get somewhere, then that's different. That's different because you actually need help. You actually need help. But when you don't, and somebody's trying to force you to feel like you do, that's different. That's real different. I don't even know why someone would try to do that. But you were able to see clearly. You were able to see right through it because there was nothing wrong with your vision at all. You didn't need glasses. You could see perfectly fine because you're looking through you're looking through the lens of God. You're seeing your situation through the eyes of God. You're seeing your situation the way God saw your situation, which is through the lens of truth, because you knew something was off and something wasn't right. But when a person in a situation is trying to make you feel some type of way already, and you finally start to wake up and see things for what they are, you can't expect them to see your side of the story. It's going to continue to get denied. It's going to continue to get brushed over. It's going to continue to get looked over. People are going to act like it's just not even there. It just doesn't exist. They're going to act like what you see is not what you saw. You didn't see that. You're taking things out of proportion. I'm sorry you feel that way. You're looking at the situation the wrong way. You might need to speak to someone. Yeah, they sure do need to speak to someone. Someone that can validate their experience and let them know that they were right about what they were experiencing. But when people have to try to cover something up and try to act like you're not seeing when they gotta try to cover your eyes so that you don't see, It starts to become a little difficult once you let them try to assist you, once you believe them, once you start to fall for what they're saying and believe it, because they were able to make you doubt yourself. They were able to make you believe their side of the story. They were able to make you trust their word versus yours, because they saw they had influence over you, and they took advantage of you because of that. They took advantage of you because of how much you valued them. They took for granted that you valued them and their opinion and their outlook on things. And they didn't want you to think that what you saw was what you saw. They didn't want you to think that what you saw was correct or right. They wanted you to feel that you were wrong. So what they were doing could continue. So you would continue to not think that you were right. So you could continue to be manipulated. So you could continue to feel that maybe I do need to go get checked out. Maybe I do need to have someone help me. Maybe I do need to go see about this. The only thing you need to go see about is somebody to validate your experience because of what you experienced. Because somebody wasn't doing something right and somebody was doing something wrong. They just didn't want you to see it. They wanted you to be okay with the crazy making. They wanted you to be okay with going through what they put you through, even though they were trying to break you down, even though they were trying to break you, even though they were trying to distort your reality and your vision and blind you and cause you to think that what you saw is not what you saw. When people can cause you to doubt yourself and they get in your head, you're going to question everything you start to think. You're going to take their word versus yours. You're going to take their word as gold, and you're going to take your word as less than that. You're going to take your word as non-sufficient. You're going to trust their word over yours. Sooner or later, you may not even trust yourself. You may not trust being able to think that what you feel is valid when it was the whole entire time. Your mind was clear, your thoughts were clear, there was nothing wrong with how you saw things. But because what they were doing was wrong, and you saw that it wasn't right, they didn't want you to feel that way. They didn't want you to feel validated. They didn't want you to feel confident. They didn't want you to believe in yourself. Because if you did, you would have saw that you were right and they were wrong. And some people, it's more important for them to be right. Some people, it's more important for them to prove you wrong. Some people, it's more important for them to come out on top no matter what. Some people, it's more important for them to believe in what they're thinking and their version and what they see. And that's fine. That's okay. We'll just have to agree to disagree. Because some people are just wrong. And some people are right. And just because you're right doesn't mean there's something wrong. There's nothing that you saw incorrectly. You saw everything just how it should be seen. It's like watching a movie. You're all sitting around watching the movie and you just see a scene take place. And then everybody else is like, no, that didn't happen. And you're like, yes, it did. I just saw that. No, it didn't. I just saw that. That actually happened and took place. That didn't happen. You're seeing things. It's situations like that that make a person question their reality. It's situations like that that make people not believe in themselves and believe in everybody else. But you know your experience to be true, and you know what you experienced was true. You know you saw that. You know that's what you heard. You know that's what they said. You know that's what happened. But in order for them to keep doing it and be successful at doing it, they have to make you feel it didn't happen. So that way they can keep doing it and making you think it didn't happen when you know it did. Can't trust the people who are doing it to be honest about what they did. You got to stand on your truth and what actually happened and what actually occurred. And you just got to keep it moving. Because there's no honor amongst thieves. They're not going to be upfront, and they're not going to be honest about what happened. Especially if they're trying to get you to see something else. They're trying to get you to think something else. They're trying to get you to feel something else. But what you know is right is right. And what you know is wrong is wrong. Now, nobody's perfect. And people make mistakes. But there's a difference between a mistake and something that's just not right. And you know the difference between the two. You know the difference between what's right and wrong. You know the difference between somebody trying to help you and somebody trying to cause you to need help. And you can see that as clear as day. You know when something feels off and something doesn't feel right. You have an intuition. You have a mind. You have senses. You can feel when something's wrong. You can tell when something's off. You know when something's not right. Don't let people make you not trust what you know to be right. When people are trying to make you trust what you know to be right as wrong, you have to be careful. And you may have to even write some things down and take note of it so that way you could go back to it. And that way you can, if you have to, the most important person to validate you anyway is you. So when people are going to tell you that what you experienced and what you saw and what you heard isn't that, you'll be able to have some account so that way you can recollect positively about what happened. That way you don't need to go to them when it's just you and them. You may have to record some things, may have to write some things down. Now, if it's illegal to record people where you're at, I would look that up. But you're never going to go wrong with writing things down and dating it and putting a time stamp on it, especially when it's something that you don't expect to happen or something that you don't expect to occur from certain people. I'd like to thank you for watching this video. Smash that like button, smash that share button, and don't forget to subscribe. There's been another DrewTube special. Shout out to the chosen vessels. We out.